everybody, it's Brandon down here at Snoogle Fly. Got another bug here for you today. This one here is a fleeing craw kind of sculpin hybrid. Goes by the name of the Snoogle. It's been one that has been a big producer for me for probably the last 4 or 5 years. Added a few new materials to it over the last couple years here from Snoogle Fly that have definitely made it a little bit more effective. We're going to go over a few of the materials and then we're going to jump right into it. The hook I'm using today is this is an Umpqua series #1 60-degree jig hook, kind of a heavy wire. They make there's a whole bunch of other ones out there that work great. This one here seems to be my favorite though. The eyes that I'm using are a medium double pupil from Hairline, black with the orange eyes. The contrast that it gives with this olive color looks awesome. Let's see, body material is going to be the olive 0G from Snoogle Fly along with the head here. Tail is going to be a Magnum olive variant rabbit strip. You can tie this in a million different colors, but the olive seems to be my favorite. Collar material that I'm using is a medium brown Palmer chenille. And then the legs that you see in there are the Everything leg here from Snoogle Fly. Just like the name, they got a little bit of everything going on in there. So we're going to jump right into this guy. Already got one of these hooks prepped here. You can see that I set my eyes right here on that bend that they put in to give it that 60-degree point. Thread we're using today is a 6/0 waxed in chartreuse from Semperfli. If you haven't tried it, it's probably one of the best threads that I've ever spooled up on one of my bobbins, just for the sake of, you know, I love the wax threads, the durability, but also the fact that you're getting, I think, 250 or 200 yards per spool. So your bug production goes way up per spool. So first, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take a clump of this olive 0G. As you can see, and we're just gonna noodle dub that on there, kind of that pinch and roll technique. That's where that wax thread kind of comes into play. It helps that dubbing adhere a little bit better, so you can get a little bit tighter loop. Once you get that on there, you just start wrapping the body up. We're not looking for any specific taper on this. We're just looking for some filler for your underbody. We're gonna bring that up right behind the eyes here. Pick out any stragglers that you got. Invert your fly and your vise. I have a rabbit strip here that I've already prepped. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come from the eye of the hook to this bend, and that's where I'm gonna measure from the bottom end of my leather here up. So I'm gonna gauge that, and that's gonna be where I'm gonna puncture this. I'm gonna center that up on the point of the hook, pull it through until I hear that pop from the barb. And then I'm just gonna slide that down. Kind of get your hair where you want it. We're gonna set your hook back in the vise, and now we're just going to pull snug on this just to tighten that up against the back of the hook, and we're going to come from underneath with our index and our thumb, and we're going to brush those fibers back and kind of pinch them on the top of the hook like that. And then we're going to give it 2 or 3 wraps pretty loose on top, and then we're going to pull some tension, grab the tab, we're just going to roll that a bit, and you'll see how it kind of flares that hair. That's going to give you the bulk on the front end that we want for, you know, your big sculpin head or the back end of that craw. And so after a couple securing wraps, you can cut your tab out, brush that back, and then just lash down whatever leftover you have, so you got a little bit cleaner surface to work with. Then we're going to take 4 of our Everything legs. This one here I've cut in half, and I'm just going to tie that in at the midpoint of those. Just right on the side, and then I'm going to pull these legs underneath. I'm going to kind of pull the legs towards the eye so I can capture them and get them set, and then slowly bring them back and put some more wraps on them, and that'll set those nice on the side. And we're just going to trim just the little tab off of that, and then we're going to trim our other side just so our leg. Okay, now that we've got our rubber legs tied in here, we've got them trimmed to where we want them. We're going to take a little bit of that Palmer chenille. We're going to trim out a piece. Get rid of some of that fuzz, but we're just going to trim out a little tie-in point. We're going to set that right on the side. We're going to secure that down, leave our head hanging right there behind the eyes. And so when we start wrapping this, we want all of those fibers pointing back. So we're just going to palmer that pretty tight. About 3 or 4 full wraps around usually gets the job done. And we'll just secure that down. Trim that out. And then we'll pull whatever stragglers we got, try to get those all to lay back nice. Okay, so now that we got that tied in, got our nice collar here, I'm going to take a little bit more of that zero gravity dubbing. We're just going to do that same step, and we're going to noodle dub that on there. Pull those fibers back, and we're going to do 2 wraps behind to fill in that gap, and then we're just going to come through and figure 8 around those eyes. And then just finish that off with just a little bit of dubbing there. Then we're going to build a little bit of a thread dam right up there behind the eye of the hook. I'm going to come in and whip finish this guy. Trim it off. Come in and kind of clean our head up a little bit, pull those legs out, give it kind of a pinch, and that'll give you that nice flat profile like you're looking for that big sculpin head. This bug here, depending on how you fish it, you can do real erratic strips, so this thing's kind of bouncing around. It gets that tail really bumping, kind of looks like the claws, like that fleeing craw I was talking about, that crawdad trying to escape. Also, when this thing's resting, the air that gets trapped in here actually kind of kills this guy up, kind of in that defense position that you see those crawdads get in when a fish is trying to munch on them. Another thing, if you do slower strips, it kind of does that big bounce, kind of like that sculpin does when he's bouncing rock to rock and kind of hiding. You can also swing this bug, the hook point up, gives you a huge advantage. I think on hookups, but also you're not losing nearly as many flies on the bottom. Killer pattern, you can find the video on our YouTube channel or at snakeriverfly.com, and you can find majority of the materials to tie this bug on there as well. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.